One of the main things I hear about when other CEOs and executives say when they don't want to have a V or EA is that an EA can't do this task better than me. And by the time I tell them how to do it, I might as well just do it myself. So here is why I believe this is a lie. So there's a few things what you need to consider. First is a perfectionist. A perfectionist is great, and I totally understand, but I think there's a time and place to have ultimate perfectionism, and you've built your success on your high standards. So obviously, I still need to have high standards across everything. You might also feel I'm losing control. You might also feel, well, if I'm not doing everything, where's my value? And believe me, I have felt all of these things. You've had bad experiences. You've delegated once and it didn't go so well, and it takes much longer for somebody else to do it. I might as well do it myself. The truth is that this mindset worked well when you're small, but as you scale, it's your role to find really, really good people to at least get to 80 to 90% of the level that you're trying to do. What does that actually mean when I want something done in a high quality? So your definition of what high quality means is that it's done exactly how I do it and at my speed. But the actual definition is more like what you really want is you want to achieve the same outcome, but with less of your time. So if you spend 1 hour, for example, writing an email or doing some task, but it takes an EA, let's say 2 hours, but gets 80% of the results, let's pretend that your 1 hour is worth $100. An EA's 2 hours costs maybe about $30 to $50. So you've saved money because the value of your time is much, much more. Even if the individual spends 2 or 3 times more time than you would have spent it, it's still worth it because you're now being able to do something else that's much more higher value. So the real win is not about like, oh, who's faster, who can do it better. It's really about what can you do with your free time because you've got all this free time that can add more value. Of course, you don't want them to do things that are really, really specific, uniquely to you, and it's very high value, very important. Of course, you stick to those, but you've got to differentiate what are the things that you don't need to do, and what are the things that you do. And the other question is like, yeah, you have to ask like, there are certain tasks that need to be perfect, and there's other tasks that are not. So you just have to be really brutally honest. Why does it need to be perfect? What is the reason for it to have that level of perfection? Is it going to impact revenue? Is it going to impact some compliance thing? Like, what is the actual reason? So there is a hidden cost in terms of only I can do it, right? So obviously, as I mentioned, there's like an opportunity cost. Every hour that you spend on like a $50 or $20 per hour task where your value of your time is $100, $200, $300 an hour, you're losing on opportunities, recruiting a rockstar salesperson, fixing that product, the thing that really, really matters. And also, there's a hidden cost in team development. You're not allowing your team to really grow. You're making your business really have a really critical bottleneck. Growth stalls because everything flows through you. Also, you can also have personal burnout. You're working so many hours, but on things that other people can handle. So it's like if you have other people on your team and you're still working 80 hours, then you're supposed to hire more people so you don't have to do that many hours. And so the solution, and so let me just give you like a really good example here. We had a CEO and he insisted in reviewing all the social media content. And this is really, really typical. It is really common. And what we did is we learned his voice and how he makes his social media content up to about 90% accuracy. So 9 out of 10 things that we produced, he was in general happy with it. And maybe one of them, he had to make some changes. And because of that, he gained 5 more hours so that he could focus on strategy. The business grew 40% that quarter because he could then focus on business strategy, talking to more partners, doing all that stuff. And all that content was being produced also drove a lot of that content, but it was more balanced in terms of the hours that he was spending.